All right. Welcome to Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Romo Athletics and powered by the Rolla Athletic Booster Club. I'm your host, Tom Brown. And today we have Bulldog legend, current Lindenwood volleyball star, Rebecca Janke. How you doing, Rebecca?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year's and everything?
Yeah, definitely got to see all my family, so it's a good time.
That's nice. And got the big family. And we were talking beforehand, your sister with all of her kids has the newer one too. So congratulations on that.
Yep.
So wow, so Lindenwood, I mean, what a time. I mean, so you signed with Lindenwood coming out of high school, and at that point, Lindenwood was a Division II program. Now, did you know they were going to be advancing to the Division I status?
No, I had no clue. We just had a team meeting one day and we all were like, we have no clue what's going on. And they told us, and it was definitely a shock. We did not see it coming. So,
Well, that's good. Had to be exciting though. So again, so you went from playing in the GLVC, which again is the same as Missouri S&T. So you had some home games, come back here and had a nice Bulldog crowd, probably there cheering you on. And then all of a sudden you're up into the Division I, and is it the Ohio Valley Conference? Ohio Valley Conference. So you're kind of moving around, still got some Missouri activity, but Illinois and then kind of spreading out.
yeah.
So what was that like? What was that transition like, going from high school to college and then up to Division I?
Yeah. So I think the transition from high school to college was definitely challenging because, I mean, like at any sport, you're going to get bigger, more physical people. So that was definitely a little bit difficult to adjust to just the speed of the sport. But then really the transition from D2 to D1 really was pretty seamless for us. It took us a year to kind of get used to it, but it really wasn't. I think the GLVC was pretty good in volleyball, so that made our transition pretty good.
That's great. So if we look a little bit about where you've been at your career, so you played both basketball and football. I mean, basketball and volleyball. Sorry, I'm a basketball football guy, so that's where I go to. But I want to start with basketball, since you chose to move on with volleyball. I'm sure you had opportunities for basketball as well in college. But I mean, the legacy you left behind is like a record that I don't know that ever is going to be broken. So it wasn't just a Bulldog record; it was actually a state record for field goal percentage in a season. Correct? Do you remember what that was?
I don't know the exact number, but
Well, good thing I have it here. Field goal percentage for a season was 88.7% from the field. 88.7%. I guarantee you, a bunch of listeners out here, they'd love to have that score on their test. But Rebecca had it in competition every night for an entire season. I mean, incredible. And so huge state record on that. Now, what she also has, you have a second state record, and that's for a career. So was that your senior season, that 88.7?
yeah, I think so.
And so you had a great program. You're fortunate. I mean, you had a nice team around you. But for a career, it was 82.8%. I mean, if you're above 50%, a 60% inside in high school is kind of like a big thing. That's elite. You were at 82.8 for a career, man. That had to be incredible. Did you think about that at all? I mean, was it?
I mean, I didn't think about the record, but it definitely bugged me to not be shooting at a high percentage. And I think I was just kind of stubborn where I didn't want to shoot where I was going to miss. So I just like to shoot close to the basket.
But again, so how tall are you?
6'2".
6'2". And so in high school, that's obviously a really good height, especially in our conference. And there's a few times you probably have a few kids there. I know Jeff City has had some players, and you come up against them. But your ability to get position and go up and finish with that inside, and as a free throw shooter, you shot really good free throw percentage too, didn't you?
Honestly, I don't remember. I think it was okay. I don't think it was anything great,
but typically you think about the taller kids always having kind of struggling with mechanics and stuff. And then on the boys side and on the girls side, it's the same thing. But I remember that as you're pretty much cash when you were at the free throw line. It was like, okay, that's a given. We got the 2 and 1. So that was always kind of fun. You were a 1,000-point scorer in high school as well for the high school Bulldog team. And fond memories of basketball? Did you enjoy basketball? Did you just prefer volleyball?
I definitely preferred volleyball, but it is interesting. When I think back on some of my favorite memories, I do think of basketball. And I think we we were a pretty close-knit class and we had a lot of success. So I think even just like obviously like winning districts, winning the sectional game was good memories, but even just like I think of like fun memories in like hotels and like fun travel trips. So we just had like a fun group.
Well, we were talking beforehand of the difference between basketball and volleyball, where with basketball, it's that game. You got the game. You got a halftime and that's it. But in volleyball, you have your sets. So you, like you were saying, you could get blown out one set and then turn around and take care of it the next ones and everything's good.
Yeah.
And so with basketball, in some cases, it's kind of like do or die the entire time. And so maybe that adds a little bit to some of that, I hate to say tension, but there's kind of that cohesiveness that comes sometimes in those moments when you have those chances. You know, the rally has to last.
Yeah.
You know, it can't be one that you get, okay, now we get a do-over and we can see how that goes the next set.
Yeah, it's definitely different because like volleyball, you kind of have to be like locked in the whole time because at any moment it can go downhill. Where basketball, like you can blow them out in the first half and your starters can sit the whole second half. You can't do that in volleyball.
No, that's got to go. That was the amazing thing again, and plus scoring on both ways. Where you know, in the old days, back when I was, you know, you had to serve to score, and then it was you defended to get the opportunity to score in the service. And so at that point, you know, the games would take a little bit longer. And now, I mean, those points are flying, and all it takes is a hot server or the wrong matchup.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, points are just flying and it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something important in college is just like eliminating those runs.
So looking at the high school part, so I was going back and looking at some of the things. You're probably, again, first in a season hitting percentage, first in career hitting percentage when it comes to volleyball. So again, it's that accuracy that you had shooting the basketball versus, and now in volleyball, killing the volleyball, you had that. I think they had you down as probably second in the season high kills. So I guess in that one, and then second in career kills is what they're looking at. So again, hitting percentage right up there, and then overall total. So I mean, again, stellar career. Look at that, 815 kills over your career, 75 solo blocks, which again is something that you carried on with you into college. 334 digs. Okay, that one threw me because again, it's 6'2", and being that striker person that's bringing in, I don't think you about being someone that's going to go get some digs.
Yeah, it's definitely not normal for my position to play back row, but my senior year I played 6 rotations in high school. So
wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It was fun.
So now let's move on into Lindenwood, and again, so you were able to go 5 years there. I guess you got the COVID year, right?
Yeah.
And so let's look at some of those. So you're first in kills all time at Lindenwood. So in their modern era, they had, and I think that was the sound to say, hey, Rebecca, you're first in kills. That was kind of cool that we timed that out perfectly. And you're the second Lion to ever reach 1,000 kills.
Yeah.
So you now are the all-time kills leader, which is incredible. You're first in solo blocks with 89, and so that's again pretty impressive. And most kills in a single match, 26 kills against Western Illinois. So did you feel it that game? Did you realize that, I own them?
No, so it actually is really weird. So we played them, since they're pretty close to us, they were like our only midweek match. So we went there early in the season and I had like my career high. I had 20 the first time we played them. And then I don't actually know if you know this, but I dislocated my pinky in one of our games. And so I was out for a few weeks and that was my first game back. So I hadn't practiced in 2 weeks. And then I practiced on Monday and then played on Tuesday. And like going into the game, I was just like, hopefully I do okay. Hopefully I get like 8 kills. Like I'll be happy. Like I'm going to be easy on myself. So I did not. And even in the game, like you just kind of lose track of that. Like I did not know that I was close to that, and then they announced it, so it was super cool.
Yeah, so the coach was probably like, okay, let's rest you between all of our games.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I'll just take a couple more weeks off. I'll just practice 4 games. And
so again, knowing you and knowing the type of, you're competitive, but it's all about sportsmanship for you. So what I wanted to do is ask about like, what was your best like trash talk you did on that 26 kills? But I'm pretty sure that's something you've never done.
Yeah, no. One of my teammates liked to do like the finger wag. Yeah. She got blocks and all the time she'd try to talk me into it. She'd tell me to do it. And I said, sorry, I'm not doing that.
I could almost see you apologize if the kill was like vicious off some. Oh, sorry about that one.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. But 29 or 26 kills. Yeah, I guess Western Illinois. That's incredible. So then you went and you finished off your career here in the fall. You were first team all OVC, the Ohio Valley Conference. You led them with a 355 hitting percentage. So again, another incredible feat that you led the entire conference in that. And then you went on and was academic all district on there with the college sports communications, I think is what it is, the name of the organization. So again, tremendous. What was your favorite memory about Lindenwood and playing volleyball there?
I have a lot of good memories, but probably this last year, my graduate year, we won conference. And it was like a big goal that we'd had like since going D1. And we knew that we had all the pieces this year. And we put it all together. And even the championship game, we swept them. And it was like, I don't even think they got to 20. Like it was probably the best I've ever seen our team play ever. So like winning conference, only our third year D1, and like just playing so great was probably my favorite memory.
And that allowed you to advance into the national tournament, right?
No, so since with the transition, we can't for 4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually went to the NIVC tournament, but we couldn't, like we should have, but the team we beat went to the NCAA tournament.
So at that point, if you would have went there, you wouldn't have, so you wouldn't qualify for it. Now that's got to be heartbreaking because that's something every kid goes. But again, it's just part of what you know, and that's the sacrifice Lindenwood made to get into the conference or to the Division I status.
Yeah.
So wow, that was it was always great kind of see the highlights come in and see the notes. And I know the David done a nice article I think with you as well. So that's always kind of nice to see the hometown kids have success. And we were talking, and it's not over for you. So at Lindenwood, you also play the beach volleyball, right?
Yeah. So yeah, 3 years ago when we went D1, we also got beach volleyball. So I'll be doing that this spring, and then I'll be done for real.
That'll be it for that. So is that done in? So is it? It's going to be indoors.
It is. We're indoor until February.
Okay.
So, and then we'll start going outside.
Okay. Wow. That could be a little chilly still then.
Yeah. I played 2 seasons ago, but then I couldn't last year. But 2 years ago, we played a lot of cold tournaments. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, should I have stuck to an indoor sport? But it's a lot of fun.
Now, do the other Ohio Valley schools, do they have beach volleyball as well?
So we only have 6 schools that do, but it is still OVC.
Okay, great. And what do you prefer, the beach volleyball? Because that's a two-person game, or the regular indoor volleyball.
It's so hard to pick because it's so different. Like indoor, I have a very specific role that I do. Where beach, there's only 2 of you, so you're doing everything. I'd say probably indoor, just because that's like what I've done my whole life. But they're both just really different for me as a player.
Yeah, and then we were talking about the digs that you had in high school. That ability comes into play in the beach volleyball. Which, I always liked the beach volleyball just because of the excitement of just the 2 people trying to in tandem, and you're looking at the strategies you have there on how they're approaching, which are similar approach to what happens in the big game, but here it's just like I said, it's just the 2, and now you gotta make your things work, and you see those historical teams that have professionally in beach volleyball that really just stand out, and you're just in awe watching them. So it's got to be again just a nice change, probably.
Yeah, definitely, because that's indoor. I only play the front row, so sometimes I'll go and I'll like not even touch the ball. Where beach, like you're doing everything, so it's a lot more mental load, but it's fun to get to obviously touch the ball all the time and do stuff.
Now, will you have the same pairing partner that you had 2 years ago, or
no? So it's kind of always changing. Like I have no clue who I'll be with right now, because especially we have a group of I think 10 that are beach only. So all the fall while I was doing indoor, there's 4 of us that are doing both. They all were together. So we'll start practicing, and then we'll see, and they'll set partners. But then like if things aren't going well, they'll switch them around or move you up and down and stuff.
And we were talking, and it's much like in the tennis matches where the pairings happen, and then you adjust, but there's the team score. So every pair contributes to the team total victory, and so you look for matchups on that, so you can make adjustments and stuff. Great.
Yep.
All right, so let's day in the life of a season in regular season. So what's it like? So we want to talk to potential volleyball players out there. What's that like? So in the day in the life of a college athlete, Division I college athlete, what's that day like on, let's say, game day?
For game day?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, depending on what time the game is, but just like making sure you're up and like I want to make sure that I'm moving not too late. And then we typically have what we call serve and pass, where it's really that's what it is. You're serving, you're passing, that kind of stuff, just kind of like warming up a little bit. We normally do that about 3 hours till game time. If you're traveling, it's different because you get an assigned time, but when we're home, like we can really do it whenever. But we'll do like a little 30-minute like get moving, and then about an hour till game time is when you're really like locked in. We're doing lots of different stuff, and then game, and then going on.
So do you have like during the season when it is season time? Do you have how stringent it is on like team meals and time together and study halls? I mean, how much is it your team together, and how much of it is you're just a college student and then you just show up for practice just like you would in high school?
It's a good mix of both. So we like at the beginning during preseason, we do more like team meals, that kind of stuff. Sometimes we'll do different like team meetings. In the off season, we do a lot more like team meetings and stuff like that. But in season, there's not a lot of like required stuff like that, just because they like we all have different class
Yeah.
schedules, unlike high school. So you know that everyone's busy, but we do pretty much just like practice and film. But I mean, a lot of us eat together anyway and that kind of stuff. But
So how long is your typical practice? Let's say leading up to before games start. So in the early part of the season.
so like preseason, we normally when we're doing like two a days for a few weeks, we have two different 2 hour practices a day, and then on top of like three lifts a week earlier. And then when we're getting closer to games in season, we're two lifts a week, and around like 2 hour practices. Maybe if we're like 3 games, 3 days out from a game, we're like two and a half. But like day before games, we're going like hour, hour and a half.
Yeah, that's great. So what was the biggest change jumping from high school into college sports?
Really just the speed of the game. Like compared to like high school, especially our conference could have a lot of teams that's like would just have one good hitter or something and they're just setting them every ball.
Right.
But it just like you get to college, you got good hitters everywhere and you've like really good setters that they just set it a lot faster. And so especially as a middle blocker who like I have to block everywhere, like that was the hardest transition being like, oh, their ball can go anywhere at any time and it's way faster. So
Yeah, so your anticipation for the quick jump, being in
yeah.
position, and again, it's I mean, just the hand movement is so much
Hmm.
precision in there to the angles that can be hit at. Where again, probably in high school, it's if they hit a certain way, they hit a certain way.
Yeah, the biggest thing too, just like learning how to read people. Like you're not always gonna make the right choice, but you gotta commit to something
Mhm.
or you're gonna be late to
Right.
everything. And just like knowing like that goes into like kind of the scouting. Like there's a lot more scouting in college, knowing that like they set this girl most of the time. So if anything, I'm gonna be going that way. And if they set the other way, then that's okay because she's not our priority.
Because I like this. So again, the way the coaches probably approach the game, and then the amount of independent film study you're probably doing as
Hmm.
well to match up on those things.
Hmm.
Um, what would be so? What was the thing you took away? So what was one thing from high school, whatever it is? Again, in sports and education and family, what's the one thing from high school that you took with you that is still kind of something that's an anchor point for you? Some memory, some approach, something. What is there something from high school that you've done, achieved, thought, processed, however, and that you've taken with you, you kind of use as an anchor point?
I think just giving it my all the time. Like you're not gonna win, you're not gonna get better, you're not gonna get good grades giving 50%. I think you just have to try your hardest all the time and good things will hopefully happen.
I like that. Yeah, that's always good. And we are talking before just like the off season stuff that you would do in high school, the club
Hmm.
teams and making sure you're committed to those things
Hmm.
and find that, hey, that wasn't critical for you because you as an individual, but also for the team, trying to put that extra time in.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, having that effort. And again, I love the fact that you brought up classroom because again, you're an academic all district as well. So that's probably a good feeling as well, which
Yeah.
in the end, that's going to be your livelihood.
Hmm.
Um, so, what was your favorite class in high school?
Ooh. Probably one of Mr. Reinhardt's history classes. He was one of my favorites.
We just had that conversation yesterday at our house with
Really?
all the kids because Mr. Reinhardt,
Yeah.
never uses a textbook, can just talk about anything.
Yeah.
All the kids are going through it, all the favorite moments, and just the way he went about things. He made history fun. If you didn't like history when you got in there, you sure liked it when you got out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. He was definitely one of my favorite high school teachers.
Plus, he's a big sports guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
Old farm boy and everything.
Yeah. I think he came to one of my games either last year or this year, but his son was at Lindenwood too, so it was nice. I got to see him some.
That's nice. Yeah, that's always great. Love to have that. What's been your favorite class in college?
Ooh. Honestly, probably I took a lot of my classes were online, which was a little bit different for me because I like to have a teacher, but I took some coaching classes actually, and I took one class that was like an intro to coaching type class, and it was the same thing where like the teacher was just super cool and like super like dedicated, and she knew what she was talking about. She'd like owned a cheer gym for a while, and so she just made it really fun.
That's nice. Yeah, when they put practical experience. I know when I went to S&T over here with UMR back in the day, my favorite instructors were the people that were from the real world. They weren't the professors.
Yeah.
They were the people that lived a life and they shared their experiences and they made it real.
Yeah.
And when you can have that connection, that's powerful, and that's gonna be great. So your career then now, so you're working on your graduate studies, graduate schools, right? You graduated already?
Yeah.
And so now this is the graduate year for you.
Yes.
What's your plans afterwards?
So I am planning to get a teaching job in St. Charles area.
And so you focused on STEM activity, right? So
yeah, that's what my master's is.
nice. So you like, I mean, math, science. I mean, what is it?
Kind of. So I'm doing early childhood education, so it doesn't like apply as much as like high school, but I do think that that's important for the young kids as well.
And that's the time really to kind of push on. Where I used to work, we would come do that at some of the elementary schools, and especially at the middle schools. Even you're bringing in that stuff, kind of in the mechanics, in the thought processes, and that you use for STEM. I mean, they apply to everything in life. Not to the full technical side, but that mindset, decision making, critical thinking that you can do early on. So that's exciting, especially the early childhood. That they're just sponges.
Yeah, and they love that kind of stuff. Like just making stuff like that fun for them. Like.
Yeah, it comes back to that whole connection, why learning's enjoyable. And once you have that desire, that thirst, you kind of keep running with that. So one of the things that I think a lot of kids, miss out, like when they're in high school, is they don't comprehend how much of a role model they are. And you see that a lot for a lot of kids that'll come through, and they just kind of go through the process, and little kids will come up to them, kind of annoying and things like that, because they're teenagers. But that's one of the things I know that you're always kind of big on, aware of the kids around you, giving back, being involved in camps, doing the different things, whether it was basketball or volleyball within the community. I know that was an important part to you, and you're now in the early childhood. So if you had that one piece of advice to give to your younger self, or give to the other Bulldogs that are out there, they're looking to go on and play some college sports, or even just to go on in college kind of thing, what's that one piece of advice that you would wish you would have known, or that you would like to share with the audience out there?
I think like just what you said, kind of like being aware of that, like know that little kids are looking up to you even when you don't know, but really to just like enjoy this time. Like I think like everybody looks back at it, you're like, oh, it went so fast, but like it really does. Like thinking about that, this is my 5th year of school, like of college, is crazy that like I've been out of high school that long. So really just like soaking in all the moments, like enjoying the time that you have right now.
Well, yeah, embrace it. Be present. Enjoy what you have, and know the impact that you have on those kids. Yeah, I really appreciate that. So, as we look at that, I'm going to recognize some of our sponsors that we have, which is kind of a fun thing that we have here with Inside the Huddle. Angie Reese, MVP Apparel, does earning stuff. Check out this Inside the Huddle. Got my old shirt here. Got my hat. Does a great job. Thank you, Angie Reese. Dan Collier, Dan Collier. Yeah, he's just not a good neighbor. He's a great neighbor. He's at State Farm. Appreciate Dan Collier. Does chain gang stuff. Phelps County Bank, mypcb.com, 100% employee owned. Bankers by day, Bulldog fans by night. Love to have them. And Kobe Wands, you know, Kobe Wands, and he owns Wands Skills Academy, coaches over at Sullivan, a 2-time All-State player for the Bulldogs. Does great things, done a lot of training, as I've said before, with Ethan. Always appreciate everything Kobe does. In full bloom, have the Bloom Decor, Backdrop Rental, and more. You see them in a lot of our signings and events that we have, and there'll be kind of all the decorations behind. Does a great job. Jackie does a great job. If you need anything from In Full Bloom, make sure you hit her up. So I got a question for you. So one last question before we go. What was your best, most cherished Christmas present you ever received?
Oh, I don't really have anything that,
Really stands out. Huh?
yeah, I'm trying to think.
Any
Oh
good
my
Christmas memory? Any good morning memory?
Probably just I've always loved like Christmas Eve. Like we always go to church and then we eat with some people that are like longtime
Yeah.
family friends every year, and we always get new pajamas and we read
Yep,
'Twas the
yep,
Night Before Christmas.
yep.
So
So Trey, you know Trey,
Mhm.
he's taken over the tradition in our house of reading "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Really?
Yes, and he did it kind of as a joke, and he mimicked everything I did. The mannerisms, where I called out, where I pointed on this. We got this giant, giant book, and he would do it all, and just thought it was just clever. And so now he does it.
That's
Last how
funny.
many years
My
he's
mom
doing it.
does it.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. It's a great. You love having the tradition.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So Rebecca, thanks a lot for being here. Good luck as you head back to school and classes and finish up your graduate studies. Um, Thank you for everything you did here as a Rolla Bulldog. Again, a lot of impact with with the kids, with the community, with the sports programs, both in basketball and volleyball. So yeah, thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And again, the big Bulldog Nation, big shout out here to Rebecca Janke, record setter at Lindenwood, record setter at Rolla High School, record setter for the state of Missouri in basketball. So a lot of tribute right there. So wish you all the success going forward. And for Rebecca Janke, I'm Tom Brown. And from the inside the huddle to the heart of the game, we'll see you next time.